Welcome to Facebook Live, and we are going to see who's on, and then we will get started. So let's check this out. There we go. It is hot here in Oregon. I don't know about you guys where you're at, but it is like 100 degrees here, which is well above our normal. And why is this not popping up for me? Well, nope, that's not what I want there. Okay, I hope that didn't go live in stories. Let's check this out. There we are. And hello, Tracy. Thanks for joining. I am trying out a new phone today. Hello, Cynthia. So bear with me if things are a little bit different. My camera had a little bit of a problem. I broke it actually on one of my lenses. So I'm trying out my mom's phone she had laying around, and we're going to use it and see how it goes. So this month, from now until the end of July, is bonus days, bonus earning days, which means that for every $50 in merchandise that you purchase through Stampin' Up, you will receive a $5 coupon that you can redeem in August. Now, those amounts are cumulative, which means that if you spend $50, you get $5. If you spend $100, you get $10. If you spend $150, you get $15. And they're going to email you one email for each order that qualifies with the amount of codes that determines how many you earned. So if you spent $150, you'll get one email with 3 codes. So I want to make that clear so that you'll know you won't be looking for 3 emails for each of those $5 coupon codes. It's one email for each order that qualifies, and it will have the codes that correspond to what you've earned. Okay? Oh, you can't hear me. Oh. Okay, let's see. Microphone. 1 minute. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, up. No. Up, 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 up. How about now, Tracy? Can you hear now? What happened? Okay, can you hear now? I turned the microphone all the way up. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, great. For some reason, the volume was all the way down on this phone. I don't know why. Whew, thank you for pointing that out. So you didn't hear me explain the bonus days. So let's go back and revisit that. So bonus day earning period is from the beginning, from now until the end of July. It started on July 3rd. For each $50 that you spend in Stampin' Up products, Stampin' Up will send you an email with coupon codes to redeem in August. Now, you're going to get one email per order that qualifies. So if you spend $150, that would qualify for 3 coupon codes. There'll be one email with those 3 codes. Okay? There's no limit to the amount of coupon codes that you can earn. And in August, when it's time to redeem, there is no limit to how many coupon codes you can put on an order other than you cannot use more coupon codes than your order total. So what that means is that you can't spend $10 and use 3 coupon codes. It won't work that way. Okay, you'll waste your coupon code. Okay, so do we have any questions on that? If you are watching on the replay and you have any questions, go ahead and type that in the comments and I'll get back to you. Or send me, better yet, send me a message, a private message. Okay? All right, so we're using sketch butterflies tonight. I have one 3D project and one card for you. And then on Thursday night, if you check out my YouTube video or my YouTube channel, there will be a video there for you. I have a Stampin' Up event Thursday night at roughly the same time as I would normally go live. So I've prepared a video for you so that you'll still get that content on Thursday at 7. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set these aside and we're going to start with the 3D project tonight. And it does not require a bunch of supplies. We have a piece of balmy blue cardstock, and this cardstock is 4 inches by 6 inches. You can get 3 of these out of a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. So what you would want to do is you want to cut your cardstock on the 11-inch side at 6 inches and then cut that 6 by 8.5 inch piece into 2 4-inch by 6-inch pieces, and then you'll have a strip left that is wide enough for you to cut another 4 by 6 piece out of. Okay, and then I'm not sure if that piece has enough left for you to do the die cutting that you need to do. So in addition to this piece, I have a piece of the I've used a piece of the Meandering Meadow Designer Series paper. This paper's been around for quite a while. It is an online exclusive, and it's one of those scenery papers that I absolutely love. It has a watercolor look, and it works for so many things. So we're going to use it tonight. This is still available, or it was available when I made my project. So I didn't check today. Okay, so I've got some pieces of that VSP, and I've got 2 pieces that are 1 7/8 by 1 3/8 by 1 7/8, and those are in the landscape orientation. And then I have 2 pieces that are 7/8 by 1 3/8, and those are in the portrait orientation. Okay, so those are the pieces that we're going to need for our treat box. And then I've got some die cuts, and I actually went ahead and die cut those ahead of time. And I've used the Unbounded Love dies. And you're wondering what I'm doing right now. I forgot to pre-pull the piece of, well, and why can't I find it now? I'm looking for my, oh, it's right here. There it is, right here. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is the Unbounded Love dies. This is what the actual dies look like. And I have taken this die, and as you can see here, it cuts both the outer scallop rectangle and the inner. So I've cut 1 in balmy blue and 1 in basic white. Okay. And that's the Unbounded Love dies. Now this can be bundled with a sentiment only stamp set. It has a bunch of lovely sentiments, And I highly recommend that if you don't already have that bundle, that you get it. Here, these are the sentiments. There's a lot of really nice sentiments in here, and they fit inside these dies. Okay. We're not using these dies because we're using the sketch butterflies, and so I've taken my sentiment from there, but my sentiment fits very nicely in the inside piece of this die. And so I've got the balmy blue outside, and then I've got the white, basic white inside. And those are all the pieces that we need except for decoration. Okay? And of course, I forgot to grab those little scraps, but that's okay. We'll grab them. We have plenty. Okay, let's go ahead and get our box scored and ready to go. And while I'm grabbing my scoring tool, this is the template. So you can take a screenshot of that if you want, or you'll find all of this information with a photo of this template over on my blog tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to bring in our Simply Scored tool, and we are going to score on the 4-inch side to begin with, and we're going to score at 1 inch. And here's a tip. If you have a box that is tight for your treat, the stylus tool that you use, the tip, makes a big difference. So for instance, when I created my box, when I used this tool, everything fits good. But if I use the stylus from my Simply Scored tip, it's just slightly tighter than using this tip. Okay, so there's just the slightest difference in the ball tips, and that will make a difference. So that's just a hot tip for you, that your stylus tip does make a difference. So I'm going to score this at 1 inch on each end. This is a symmetrical box, so when you are scoring, it is best to score from each end, and that way you know that your box will be perfectly square. Okay, so now I'm going to rotate this to the 6-inch side. It doesn't matter what direction you go, and we're going to score this at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 2.5 inches. And again, I'm going to rotate that 180 degrees because it's symmetrical. And I'm going to repeat at 1/2, 1, and 2.5. Okay, and that is all of our scoring. So let's go ahead and grab our foam folder and start burnishing on our scoring lines here. Very important when you're making a 3D project that your scoring lines are crisp. It just makes the box go together a lot nicer. Okay, so now we're going to do some trimming. We're going to bring back in our template here. Okay, good, you can see that. All right, so this box is going to go together like this, okay? So one of these is the top, one of these needs flaps, and one does not. So you pick which end, it doesn't matter. Usually the one you don't mess up on is a good choice. Ask me how I know that. So we're going to cut into the first score line here on the right, and I'm going to cut straight up the rectangle. Okay, And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on this score line inside the rectangle. Okay, I cut straight up. Okay, then I'm going to flip this section in. So this is going to be the front of our box, right? I believe. Yeah, I didn't write front of the box on here like I usually do. Okay, so we've got that. I've taken off those two outer rectangles, and now I'm going to miter these little tabs, because if I don't miter them, then they don't fit right. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to flip this 180 degrees, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to cut up the same score line inside that rectangle, but this time I don't need these tabs. So I'm going to cut those off at the second score line, the second horizontal score line, and I'm just going to meet that other cut I already made. I'm going to repeat that rectangle, inside rectangle cut on that score line, and then cut off that tab again, or both of those tabs, those little rectangles, because I don't need those. Okay, then we're going to turn this to the long side, and I'm going to cut up the long rectangle again to the inside of that score line right here, and I'm going to repeat that on this side, up the inside of the rectangle to the first horizontal score line. Okay, now this is going to be a glue tab, so we're going to do a little angle cut on each of those to remove that score. Okay, and then I'm going to turn that to the opposite side and do the same thing. I'm cutting up the score line to the inside of the rectangle and up this score line to the inside of this rectangle, and then I'll miter cut the score line out on the tab. Okay, now this is our box, and this is how it's going to go together. We're going to push these in, and then we'll glue these up, these two little glue tabs up, and then we'll fold this over the top. Okay, this piece that has the tabs, and this will be the front of our box. And that's important for you to know at this point, because this is the front of our box. So this is where we're going to do our decorating. Okay, so we're going to take our designer series paper and we're going to bring that in. It's easier to put it on now. And we're going to glue those on. Now you can pick whichever piece you want. I'm going to put this piece on the back because it's more colorful, and I'm covering up most of this piece on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on that. And I'm going to put this right here and center it within that rectangle. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my side pieces on, because they're going to go right next to that piece I just added. And of course we want these all to be patterned up. Oh, I dropped it. Okay, this one's kind of hard to figure out which is up and down, but I think I got it. So let's go ahead and add this right here. Okay, then I'm going to turn this 180 degrees, and with this in the right side up orientation, it's hard to tell. I'm going to go with this one. When you cut your paper, keep it. This one is a little bit different, so it's kind of hard to tell what's up and what's down when you have smaller pieces of the pattern. Okay, so that basically is our box, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and do this while I'm here because it's easier to adhere this to a flat surface than it is to do it on the box. So I'm going to take some blueberry bushel ink, and I'm going to take the thank you from Sketched Butterflies. And I have an extra one of these just in case I mess it up. We're going to stamp this down. Now, ordinarily, you might stamp your sentiment and then cut it out. But that worked perfectly. So we're good there. And now I'm going to take and put this piece on first. So I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue and I'm just going to put a little dot on each of those little scallops. And if I miss one or two, it's really not a big deal. And then I'm going to put this centered on this piece right here. Okay. Now, hopefully that'll stick. It is extremely warm in my studio, 78 degrees. So I'm hoping that that sticks down really well. And then I'm going to take a couple of dimensionals and put them on the back of my thank you. And I'm just going to center that in that scallop. It came right out of there, so it'll fit right back in. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead at this point and I'm going to put my box together. So I'm going to take some tear and tape. And remember, oh, wait a minute. I've done this almost every time, you guys. Now is a good time to take a corner rounder if you want to round this up and use a corner rounder on those tabs. Now, if you don't do it and you don't want the corners rounded, that's great. I could not get the corner rounder in after I had it together. So then you have to hand cut it if you want them rounded. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to take my tear and tape. I've got those rounded. And remember, this piece is going to fold in first. Okay, so I'm going to put tear and tape on the inside here. Sorry for reaching in front of you. And tear and tape here. And then I'm going to put tear and tape here. And then here is the important one. Make sure you get that right down in that corner and right along that edge so that you have a nice tight side. Okay, so again, right down in that corner, I want to lay that as close to the bottom and as close to the side as I can get it without going over. Oh, and then this one is not necessary. It just gives a little added stability to your box, but if you don't put the inside tear and tape on there, it's not a big deal. Okay, so I'm just going to burnish those down. And take your pick tool, and I'm going to remove all the backings all at once. You don't have to. You can just do these first two and put that together, and then remove these. I just find it easier to do it all at once. Oh, those are actually coming off quite nicely, beans. It's so warm in here. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this section up, and then I like to keep this laying on my desk so that everything's nice and flat, and then I'll just lift that up and press it in place. Turn it to the other side. Set that flat on the desk. Lift that up and give it a press. Okay. Now for this, I'm going to take and I'm going to fold this in. And then I want to make sure that this score line lines up with this cut line. And then the bottom cut line lines up with the bottom score. And if I do that, then I should have a perfectly fitted box. Okay, so I've done that side. Now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do this side. And again, I want to make sure that my score lines up with the top of my box and the bottom edge lines up. Okay, then I'm going to take my bone folder to the inside and I'm going to give that a good burnish. With tear and tape, you need to burnish the tape. Otherwise, your box might fall apart. But if you burnish the tape to the cardstock, you won't have any issues. Okay, so now we've got our tabs to fold in, and our box will come together. These are going to pop out just a bit, and this is how our box is going to go together. Okay, so now we need to add a little Velcro dot here. Now you could punch a hole and tie it with ribbon, and then the recipient would need to untie the ribbon in order to get into the box. But I prefer doing it this way. So I'll grab a Velcro dot, and these are the 3/8 inch thin fasteners. That's what they're called. The packaging looks like this. Thin clear fasteners. You get 56 in a package. And I like to use them for projects like this. So I'm going to take and I'm going to loosen up. I like to put the clear side on first. Okay. And because my recipient will be looking at the back of the box when they open it, I'm going to put my clear piece in the center right here on the top, on this top section in the center. Just going to put my little Velcro dot there, and I'm going to press that in. And then I'm going to peel that off. And then I'm going to fold this down. But before I do that, I'm going to grab my Hershey's Nuggets. Hopefully I have one of each here. And I'm going to put 2 nuggets together back to back. And then 2, okay, wait a minute, I'm missing one flavor. 2 nuggets together back to back. And those should fit in there. Okay, it's being stinky. I'm pretty sure I got 4 in here. Maybe I should look at the box and see. There we go. Okay. Okay, now I can put this down, and that is popping open. It's a little bit tight. Hang on. If you find your box is tight, oh, because I put them in wrong. Okay. Hang on, I just had to look. They go in this way. This way. This is how I designed the box. Like that. They fit much better. Okay, so you can get 4 Hershey's Nuggets in there easily. Let me go ahead and take those out though. Oops. Oh, that was sticky. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and re-burnish that side because I popped it out a little bit when I put them in there wrong. Okay, let's try that again. Back to back, this direction, and 4 fits in there nicely. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to pinch that down and push it down like that. And then I'm going to squeeze that Velcro dot together. Okay, almost done. Now, with my Velcro dots, I like to take and open that back up after a second, making sure that they stick on. And then I'll take and burnish those with my bone folder just to make sure that everything sticks well. And then I'm going to press that back down and push it, and there we go. Okay, so there's our little box. We have just a little bit of decorating to do, and then this is finished. So let's bring in, did I grab a piece of the ribbon? What did I do with my, nope, I did not. Okay. Oh, good, I've already got one cut, so we're good. So we're going to use the iridescent striped trim. And this trim is actually a 1/2 inch wide, but if you've watched my videos in the past, I like to take and cut this right along this line right here and split it into 2. You need about 14 inches if you're making a double bow, a double loop bow, quite a bit less if you're not. So I'm going to bring in my bow jig here. And I'm going to make sure that my ribbon, first of all, is all in the same direction here, flat. And then I'm going to tie myself a double bow and knot that up. And there we go. And before I pull that off, I like to separate my bows. Okay, make sure that's nice and tight. Then we'll bring in a glue dot. Place that knot right on the glue dot. Then I like to take my tweezers and squeeze at the knot so that that cinches the glue dot into the knot so that I don't have any sticky outside. And then we're going to put this right in the middle of the top section there. And then we're going to take our ribbon scissors and give that a little trim at an angle. Okay, we have one part left, and then this is finished. Of course, you could stop here if you wanted. It's pretty nicely decorated. You could put a little gem on there and call it good. But we're not going to do that. We're going to take from these sketched butterflies dies, and we're going to take these 2 bonus dies, I call them, and we're going to get crushed curry and lemon lolly scraps. So let me grab those. You don't need much. So I'm just going to grab those scraps. I think this will fit. I want this piece. Oh, let's see. This one's a little bit wider. That's Daffodil Delight. Hang on. Let's see if we've got a piece of crushed curry elsewhere. We do, and I want to get these both through the mini, so I'm going to give this a little trim because I don't have a lot of room. And I'm going to make sure that's about, there. And then we'll put this on. And we'll get our lemon lolly scrap. And we'll put the detailed butterfly on. Now, we're going to take a little bit of adhesive sheet. I thought I had this all in this thing, but I guess I don't. Okay, so I'm going to take a little scrap of adhesive sheet. We sell these in the online store. So I'm just going to take a little piece because I don't need much. And actually, I'm not even going to use all this. Let me use some other scissors. I don't want to use my good scissors. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive sheet on this piece of lemon lolly. And just move that back and forth because I'm not cutting at the cut. And so I'm going to take your pick tool and try to separate that. It's being stubborn today. Usually I don't have that much trouble. But of course, that's what happens on a live, right? Hello, Lynette. Okay, come on. Oh, my adhesive sheets are being a turkey. Okay, let's see if I fold that over. You guys, I never have this much trouble getting into these adhesive sheets. Why today? Because it's hotter than Hades and everything is fused, right? Okay, let's see if I can. Come on. Why are you not opening for me? And it's really being stubborn. Usually these separate pretty easily. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm going to abandon this in about a minute, you guys. Because this is frustrating me. Shouldn't be that hard. There it goes. Okay, so the really shiny piece is the one that has the sticky on it. And I'm just going to put this on the back of my cardstock. Okay. And then I'm actually going to cut this down because I don't need all that. And let's bring in the mini. Okay. And our plates, we need plate one, plate one, plate two. I'm going to put my lemon lolly in here with my detailed butterfly. And I want to make sure, I'm going to put it at this end because I have that one end sticking up that I worked on so hard to get to. And then I'm going to put this one here in the crushed curry. I'm going to roll that through. And then I'm going to go backwards just to make sure that that detailed die really cut. Okay. I'm going to fold that up. And we'll get this off the plate. And that. Okay, now let's bring our pieces in here. And now we've got our I'm going to try and weed out these. I didn't bring my dye brush over. That's typically what I use. Okay, so that's going to pop out. Ooh, you guys, I almost threw that in the, garbage can. Okay, now what doesn't pop out really easily should weed out with the adhesive sheet when I pull it off. Okay, now let's see if this is a little bit more cooperative than the adhesive sheet was to start with. There we go. Look, that's the way it's supposed to work, just like that. Whoa. Okay, and then I'm going to add this butterfly to my backing. Now, don't be alarmed if you don't get this lined up right away to begin with. The adhesive sheet does not set right away. You actually need to burnish that down for it to really set so that you can't get it back off. But I'm happy with that, so I'm going to take my bone folder. I'm going to burnish that down. I'm going to take my Wink of Stella brush. Put some Wink of Stella on there. Okay. We don't have a crushed curry Stampin' Blend, so I'm going to take the Dark Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blend, and I'm just going to add that to the very center of the body here, just to give it a little bit of dimension. Now our butterfly is ready. So I'm going to take a glue dot, and I'm going to roll this up. I'm going to take your pick tool into a little log. I'm going to place that in the center of my butterfly right there. Okay. And then I'm going to bend the wings at the body. There is a little score mark there, so they'll bend easily. Then I'm going to add this in this corner right there. Okay. And there is our finished little nugget treat box. I hope you like that. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into our card because I'm running a little behind schedule here. So let's put the blueberry bushel back. And then we'll jump right into the next project. Okay. So the next project uses Blackberry Bliss ink. And then I've got my Stampin' Blend markers. Actually, I've already pre-colored. That will save us some time, being we're running a little behind. But these are the colors that I used. Oh, let's get those there. Okay. And this card uses a Night of Navy card base. I have a piece of the, what is that called? Perennial Lavender DSP. This carried over from last catalog. Okay, so we're going to use this piece right here, and that is a 4 by 5¼ inch piece. And then in addition to the sketch butterflies, we're going to be using the tag from Marius Trees. And we're going to be using the Thoughtful Wishes dies, and we're going to be using these two branches right here. And the Thoughtful Wishes you can actually get bundled. Merriest Trees you cannot. That was a carryover. So it has a coordinating stamp set, but you have to buy them separately. These two do come in a bundle. We are not using the stamp set today. Okay, so we're just going to use these two dies here. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, and I've got my purple fine shimmer gems as well. So we're going to start with our card base, and then we're going to add our designer series paper to that. If you ever have trouble with your Stampin' Seal going, just put it on your silicone mat and it'll get it going again. Just run it along there real short and it'll advance that tape enough that it'll come right out and work for you. Okay, so we've got that on. Now I've pre-cut the Merriest Trees tag die in fresh freesia. And then we need to stamp our butterflies. Okay, we're going to stamp our butterflies, which are, I'm looking around for them, which is silly, because they're right here beside me, easily within reach. Okay, so we're going to stamp those in Memento on this piece. Okay. And if you're wondering about my stamp pad, I took one of the uninked craft white pads and added Memento Tuxedo Black Re-Inker to my white pad and then relabeled it. Okay, so I've got that. I find that that works much better than that Memento linen pad. Okay, so here, all I did with these, I changed my colors a little bit. So let's go, we're going to put the Dark Lost Lagoon. Look, I don't know what I did. Hang on. I got to look at my things because my sample card is different. And I'm doing this wrong. Okay. I should have looked at my little butterflies. I had to change the colors because the paper was a little different. And the person that this is for likes green. So I wanted to do that. So actually what I've done is I need the Night of Navy here. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this the right way. Okay. I'm taking the dark Night of Navy. And I'm just going to brush a little bit on here. Okay. I'm going to go back with my light Night of Navy. Okay. And then I'm going to take the dark Lost Lagoon brush tip. And as you can tell, I'm just throwing on the color. Then I'm going to take my Lost Lagoon, and now I'm going to take my bullet tip. And I'm going to swirl that at the edges. And I didn't use the brush because I didn't want to go out of the lines. And I have better control at the edges with the bullet. and I want this to blend in. Okay, so there's my one butterfly. Then I'm going to take the dark smoky slate, and I'm going to just throw in some color on those bodies. Okay, and for this butterfly, I use that same method, and I use the Night of Navy, the Blackberry Bliss, and the Fresh Freesia. Okay, and there are butterflies. Okay, so let's go ahead now. I've cut out of white this sprig from the Thoughtful Wishes. That's this one right here. And then I've cut two of those in white. And then I cut one of these right here in Lost Lagoon, and I put the adhesive sheet on the back of that, because that's going to make this a lot easier for me to adhere. Well, I say that, and then, okay, let's go from this side where I can really see where it separates. Just need to get that tip in there. There we go. Okay. So I'll pull that adhesive sheet off gently. And then I'm going to line this up. And I find if I start at the top, and I get that lined up where I want it, match those up there, then I can start to manipulate these in where I want them to go, and just press as I go. Okay. Okay, so there's that. But like I said, I want that to stick. So I'm just going to take my bone folder and very gently burnish that down. Okay, so that's my first one. Now with this one, I didn't want it to look the same tone as this. So I'm going to take my light Lost Lagoon Stampin' Blend and a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to brush on some color. This way I get two tones of the same color. Oops, I got a little bit on my flower there. I wasn't careful enough. Of course, you could use the bullet tip. I'm trying to do this quickly. Move that one out of my way. Put this in. Color that up. Just be careful not to go over your flowers. Brush that color on. Okay, so there's my piece. And then I'm going to go back with my dark Lost Lagoon. And I'm just going to swipe some color in various spots here just to give it a little bit of a shadow here and there. Okay, and when that dries, it's going to look beautiful. Okay, so there are the pieces for the front of our card. Let's go ahead and put that together. So we're going to do this. I want this to go on like this at an angle, and I need to stamp my sentiment so that I know where to put everything else. So I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss and wishing you a beautiful birthday. And I'm going to stamp this straight with this at an angle. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp this right over here, about here, like that. Now, the nice thing about going at an angle is that if you decide it's not quite straight, just change the angle of your tag to make it straight. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead and put this on. This is going to go on flat, so we're just going to use some Stampin' Seal. Okay. And again, I'm just going to place this at an angle so that my sentiment looks straight to me. I'm going to put it a little bit low of center. About like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take the fully die cut piece, and I probably should have put, well, no, I didn't want, because I don't want this fully. I didn't want to use adhesive sheet because I don't want it fully adhered. That's why I didn't use adhesive sheet. I want some movement. Okay, so I'm just putting some down there at the bottom. And then I'm going to fit this in so that my leaves straddle the Y on the birthday. Okay. Then I'm going to set that down. And I'm just going to use a block to press that down. Okay, adhere that. Then I'm going to take my second sprig, the one that we colored, and we're going to basically do the same thing. I'm leaving the top free. For some interest and dimension. And then I'm going to put this one like this at an angle. Okay, and again, use a block to press that down. All right. Now we're going to take our butterfly, which we haven't put Moon Castella on yet. Oh my goodness, that cannot happen. Gotta put our Wing Castella on and give those gossamer wings some shimmer. Okay. Now with this one, we're going to, I'm going to flip this over. I don't know that it's quite dry, so I'm going to flip that over, although you'd think it would dry super fast as hot as it is in here. I'm going to put one dimensional there and one dimensional there. And here, I'm going to bend this right at the body, just like that. And I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow on the body. Okay. I'm going to remove the backings. What just went flying? Oh, my other butterfly. I have to get that off the floor in just a second. And I'm going to put my butterfly up here so he looks like he's on the plant, but reading the sentiment. So I'm going to press that down. Okay. And then I'm going to gently press those wings in. Okay. Now, our other butterfly, we're just going to take this one and we're going to take a couple of mini dimensionals for this. I'm going to stick those in the center, like so. Now, if you don't have many dimensionals, of course, you can cut the large dimensionals in half. Or if you don't have the large, you can use the minis. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to put this one up here, like so. Give that a press in the center. We're almost done here. Let's get our bow. I've already pre-tied a bow. We have that same iridescent striped trim. In case you haven't noticed, that's my favorite trim right now because it goes with everything. Absolutely everything. So we're going to put this on here, right there, over that hole. I want to get that so it's not quite on my butterfly. Let me get my angle a little bit better here. There we go. So we've got that on. We'll trim up those ends. And finally, for the front of this card, we're going to add some fine purple shimmer gems. And we're going to use the Berry Burst. And I'm going to take one large Berry Burst, and I'm going to put it down here. And then we're going to take another one up here. And we'll take another one and put it right there. Okay. And there is the front of our card. So of course you can do whatever you want for the inside of this card, however you wish to decorate. I've taken a piece of 3 5/8 by 4 7/8 inch. I took my little butterflies. Now the small little butterflies, you get a set of 4. This is what the stamp is supposed to look like this. Okay, it comes like this, so that it's 4 little butterflies, and then you would just put that on the block, right? But I needed to cut it apart because, you know, it's more versatile that way, and my friend reminded me that I should do that. So I did it, but what I did was I cut it straight across. Let me get a block so I can flip this. Okay, so on the rubber side, that's where you want to cut. On the rubber side, if you're going to alter your stamp, I just cut it straight across. And it leaves rubber, but by cutting it straight across, I have no trouble putting this back together. It goes back together just like a puzzle, really simply and quickly. So I can either use it as a whole or I can use it as separates. Okay, now I could have cut these apart, but I can ink one of these either way, so I didn't do that. Okay, so that's what I did. And then I took and stamped this butterfly and this butterfly. Well, maybe it was this butterfly right there. I used the heartfelt hexagon to do the sentiment, but you could use whatever you have on hand. And then I colored it with the same markers. And we're going to add this to the inside of our card. This is Blackberry Bliss and Lost Lagoon that I stamped it in with the heartfelt hexagons. And I did punch that out to give it a little dimension. Okay. And there is our card. Okay. Yes, that friend would be you, Tracy. Okay, and here is my envelope that I made to go with that. I took one of the sentiments. I took another one of those butterflies and then one of those little ones. I used the same color scheme to go with that. And so here are our projects for tonight. I hope you like those. Oh, Cynthia, thank you so much. And I'm so glad you like those colors. I will show you my original card that I made in a different, I did it in a little bit of different colors. And then I redid this one because I have this one specifically in mind for a little girl. This one actually uses a belated birthday sentiment. But this one is for a birthday coming up shortly. And this is in their preferred colors. So I hope you like those. Be sure to check out Thursday night's video. I'll be attending a Stampin' Up! April Sales Challenge party that I earned because you guys helped me better my best from April 2023 to April 2024 in sales, which I appreciate so much. And I'll be sharing all of those projects with you at a future date. But I will see you back here next Tuesday night at 7 p.m., God willing. Thanks, everybody. Good night.